Yasodeva, Jaya Braja Janaran, Jaya Yashodanandana, Jaya Braja Janaran, Jamuna Tira Manachari, Jaya Kunjabihari, Jaya Kunjabihari, Jamuna Tira Manachari, Jaya Kunjabihari, Jaya Kunjabihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunjabihari, Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunjabihari, Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Damodara ki jai, Shri Gauritai ki jai, all these samba devotees ki jai, Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, probably already guessed. Hello. Wow. Fourth chapter 25. It's coming. Text 7. Nupatayeta lalanaha subru korasara kaete nupatayeta ekadasha mahabataha etavalanaha subru koyamtehi purasaraha kaete nupatayeta ekadasha mahabataha subru koyamtehi purasaraha. My dear lotus side, translation and purport. My dear lotus side, who are those 11 strong bodyguards with you? And who are those 10 specific servants? Who are those women following the 10 servants? The snake that is preceding you. Purport: 5 working senses and the 5 knowledge gathering senses. All these 10 senses work under the aegis of the mind. The mind and the 10 senses combine to become 11 strong hearts. The hundreds of women under the jurisdiction of the senses are addressed here as lalanaha. The mind works under the intelligence, and under the mind are the 10 senses, and under the 10 senses are innumerable desires filled. All these, however, depend on the vital life force, which is here represented by the snake. Vital life force is there, the mind works. And under the mind, the senses work. And the senses give rise to so many material desires. Actually, the living entity known as Puranjana is embarrassed by so much paraphernalia. All this paraphernalia simply constitutes different sources. But one who is surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who leaves all business to him is freed from such anxiety. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj advises a person who has taken to the materialistic way of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and leave aside all his so-called responsibilities in order to get free from all anxieties. Very good advice. Extremely good advice. Let's discuss it. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shritam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gauri Shabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gauranga Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So again, the verse spoken by Puranjana. My dear lotus-eyed, who are those 11 with you, and who are those 10 specific servants? Who are those women following the 10 servants? And who is the snake that is preceding you? So we're hearing about allegory of Puranjana and his meeting a beautiful woman representing his intelligence. And he's doing a little analysis of the state of the conditioned person. Hope you all can hear me all right. It's always some bad thing, but what can I do? I am dependent on the internet gods. So, an analysis of the conditioned soul in material existence, particularly one in a human body, under the jurisdiction of the mind, the intelligence, the ego. Organs of the mind are the 5 working senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue. No, those aren't the working senses. the five senses, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, tactile sense. And the five working senses is the mouth, the hands, the legs, anus, and genitals, with which we do so many things. And all of these things combined together, 11th sense, the mind. And in that way, we're just going out with the world. There's really nothing more than those five knowledge acquiring senses and five working senses. That's all there is to it. That's all she wrote. And just different combinations of the senses in contact with particular sense objects. Particularly, each of the knowledge acquiring senses calls to the five gross material elements. The eyes correlate to the element of fire. Solar fire produces light. The nose to the element of earth, which produces smell. The tongue to the element of water, which the air to the element of skin, which produces touch, sensation, and the ears of space, which produces sound. And that's all there is. That's all there is to it. There's just different combinations, and we think, well, this one looks really flavorful, and this one is novel, and this one I never tried it before. But it's just five senses, five gross elements, and the mind just kind of like making us think that it's a lot more exciting than really. That's our material condition. And so therefore, it's really nice to analyze it like this. That's why we're hearing about this from Puranjana. If we analyze it like this, we can be a bit more detached. And so we should analyze our material bondage. We should think about it deeply. Don't be afraid. Just think about it. All I've got going on are these five elements. That's it. It's all I've got to squeeze happiness out of. But we think, but there'll be some really exciting new elements for my senses if I go to this place. Sure, I've exhausted my hopes for enjoying with the senses in my hometown, but if I travel to a different country, wow, then the sense gratification will be different. Try all the new things in different flavor, but nope. Just chewing that which has already been chewed over and over and over and over again. The thing is that nowadays people have chewed everything by the time you're like 13. We went back a few hundred years ago. You're lucky if like once in your life you ate a peach. It'd be considered like a really remarkable, and they lived to about 35 because of all the disease going around. And if once in your life you ate some exotic fruit like a peach, so perhaps for people in that age, there's a lot to look forward to. Maybe I can get something like that. They might have some justification for having some desires things in this world. But for us, by the time you're 13, you've done everything. You've just done everything. You've seen different countries, possibly been to some other exotic, tasted every type of food that there is. You know about anything that exists on this world, at least through the internet, directly about everything that already existed. You already done it all. Nowadays, young people, they're engaged in sexual activity, even younger, because it's like all over the internet and in popular media. Younger people work. Even kids work in jobs instead of just being kids. Some kids are forced to be honor students, become super brainy by their parents, even at a younger age. I don't know if they do that around here, but in California, they have those, the gifted classes, even for elementary school kids, like 7, 8 years old. Parents trying to put them in some gifted class, trying to set their whole life course ahead of them. So at a very young age, you've already done it all. You've already tried all the different combinations. So congratulations. Give yourselves a round of applause. We're done. We're done. We should be done. At least that's what Puranjana is getting at here. Who are those women following the 10 senses? Who are those women following the 10 senses? Lalanaha. Desires to be fulfilled. There are innumerable desires to be fulfilled. Why are there innumerable desires? As I just said, there's only 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 gross elements, and the combination of those things. Well, we're very forgetful. That's how the desires seem innumerable. We're a little dumb. Well, actually, not we're a little dumb. I'm very dumb. I don't know about all of you, but have this stubborn obstinacy that like, well, I'm just going to try it again. I'm going to try it again. This time it's going to be different. This happiness that I want. Or we forget that I tried before and I didn't get the happiness that I want. And we pretty easily forget. We're not so smart. And so we just keep going after these unlimited desires, which are only combinations of the 5 knowledge acquiring senses and the 5. We're not so smart. And it's not me saying it, it's Krishna saying it. Okay? Krishna says it, you're not so smart. He says, Avritam Gyanam Etena. Gyanina Nityavayan. He says that your knowledge is covered. Avritam. Avritam means it's covered over, like a fog. There's fog outside today. Some funny weather. When it goes over the land, you can't see anything. You can't see what's going on. So he says, Avritam Gyanam. Your knowledge is covered over. By what? Etena? By this? Gyanina Nityavairina. Your knowledge is covered over by your eternal enemy, the eternal enemy of your intelligence. Nityavairina. Wouldn't it be nice to know who's the real enemy? We always want to blame somebody in this world, right? Blame a particular ethnic group. That's still a popular thing in the 21st century. Some ethnic group for all your problems, even if you've never met one before. Or blame a partner, business partner, or a marriage partner. We want to blame somebody, right? They're getting all the pleasure that I want. It's mom and dad. It's all their fault. It's my wife. It's my husband. It's the temple president. We can just blame anybody. We're always looking for somebody. We're always looking for someone to love and somebody to blame. And then you get married. But generally speaking, we're looking for someone to blame, to be the enemy, someone that we can make the scapegoat for our frustration, the lack of fulfillment of our desires. But Krishna said, Nityavairina, who's the real enemy? Avritam Jnanam Etena, this Etena, your eternal enemy. Kama Rupa Kunteya Dushprena Analena. Kama Rupa. Your eternal enemy has a very distinct form. So we can see it's not allegorical, like the story of Puranjana. It's not it has a very clear and distinct form. Kama Rupa Kunteya. This lusty, selfish desire. And lust doesn't just mean sexuality. It sort of have that any selfish desire, just desire to enjoy, the master of enjoyment. It sounds really silly when you put it that way. I'm going to try to do better than the master of enjoyment. I'm going to do it better than Krishna. This, you never tried this before. That's why Prabhupada says the living entity known as Puranjana is embarrassed. It's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. So Kama Rupa Kunteya Dushpraya, this Kama, like fire, and it is never satisfied. If you're burning a fire, the fire doesn't go out. If you add more wood, the fire just burns hotter. And the hotter it burns, I don't know if you all can hear me at all. Zoom's always flashing at me saying your internet connection is unstable. Well, come on, do something about it. Be proactive, not reactive. I mean, be both. Be better. Anyway, fire doesn't go out when you add more fuel. Similarly, that's a hard word to say, isn't it? So similarly, material desires do not become satiated by the attempt sneak attack. Comes and stabs you in the back. You think that you're trying to fulfill the desire, but actually the desire is just getting stronger. The more you feed it, just gets stronger and stronger. So this is why Nitya Vainana, it's your real enemy. So the thing that's really bringing you down, that's the person we should blame. It is not the president's fault or the prime minister or the governor or some business or your partner. Kamarupena kutela dushparena analena cha. The selfish desire comes and stabs you in the back. Ha! You thought that I'd go away if you would just try to fulfill this innumerable desire, but more desire. And so we're just here like Caesar, getting stabbed so many times. We think this time will be different. This time I'm really going to fulfill my desire. It's going to be remarkable. They'll sing about it on Facebook or Instagram, right? And to do it, make the cut on social media. Bhagavatam is full of all these stories of persons who have made their devotional transformation, made it into this edition of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the editor-in-chief of Srimad, who I guess is Yasodeva, is like, wow, that's a good story. We should put that in this universe's. Because it prints the new edition. Every instance of the emotional transformation, it makes the cut. I'm going to put it in this edition of Srimad Bhagavatam. But here we are trying to make the cut on social media. I'm going to do something that satisfies my desires. And the indication is if I get a lot of likes from people who are also suffering like anything. So silly when you analyze it, when you break it down. It's just so silly. This allegory, this allegorical story, Puranjana, is so useful. Let's break it down. Let's analyze it and see how ridiculous it is to chase innumerable, never, ever, 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 ever satisfied. So, as Prabhupada says here, the living entity is embarrassed by all this stuff. All this paraphernalia simply constitutes different sources of anxiety. It's a source of anxiety to keep up with the Joneses and to show everybody, I'm enjoying. Don't worry. Are you enjoying? Yeah, I'm enjoying. I enjoy all the time. Yeah, tell all your friends and family, are you enjoying? Are you enjoying? Did you get enough enjoyment? You got like some family reunion. Everybody wants to know, are you successful in your enjoyment? Are you enjoying? Are you getting pleasure for your mind and your senses? And you have to say, yeah. So much pleasure for my mind and senses. Mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, getting all that pleasure, all that enjoyment. Everybody's just lying to each other. Yeah, so much enjoyment. I don't know, how about me? I get all this enjoyment. Well, I've got enjoyment coming in the future. I'm sure of it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And we have to lie to ourselves to do it. Avritam jnanam etena covers up your knowledge. So we got to lie to ourselves. We're very forgetful. Directly, yeah, I can enjoy. this time it will happen. No, you don't really think it'll happen. You just lie to yourself. Or we have to be very forgetful. Most of material enjoyment, whatever exists, most of the enjoyment, whatever may exist, depends on forgetfulness, on ignorance. You can't enjoy being with one woman. You can't be like thinking of past women and then trying to enjoy another woman. If you have some new product, some new thing, some new shoes, and by thinking of the past shoes that you had, your previous one, you got to forget about the other ones. To enjoy this body, you got to forget about past bodies. So whatever pleasure exists in the world depends on ignorance. Avritam jnanam etina. That's what Krishna is saying. It covers up your knowledge. Be bewildered. You got to be dumbfounded to try to enjoy. It necessitates ignorance, willfully or unwillfully, or we just lie to ourselves. So this is really embarrassing. And it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. Everybody who's listening to this, if you can hear me, it's okay. You're here at the Sense Gratification Support Group, okay? SGA, Sense Gratifiers Anonymous. Well, you're not anonymous. I can see all your names and faces. But it's okay. It's all right to be embarrassed. It's all right to say, I've been embarrassed by material desires, and they're still kind of getting at me, and it's just, I'm embarrassed. Prabhupada says it here. We're embarrassed by all this stuff. It's a source of anxiety, and that's okay. But let's make this a turning point. If you haven't already done so, okay? Turning point right now, April 9th, in the year of our Lord, 2022, is going to be the turning point. What does Rupa Goswami say in that great verse? Kamadinam katina katita palita duni deshas tesham jatamina kanopashanti. Utrijaitamata yadupate sampratam labda buddhis tvam ayata sharanam abhayam mam. Such a nice verse. He prays to the Lord saying, oh my Lord, oh my God, for so long I have been servant of these unlimited desires headed by lust. Kamadinam katina katita palita duni deshas. I'm dictated. I am employed by all this kama, by all this selfish desire. I've been working hard to fulfill them. I've been diligent servant of these lusty desires. You know what? Even though I've worked so hard for them, they haven't shown me any mercy. They don't pay very well. They don't pay me very well. Even though they don't show me any mercy, still, I'm so dumb. I haven't even desired to give them up. You know, like have some self-respect here, right? Nowadays, there's a sort of like workforce revolution going on in America, which is great. A lot of people are recognizing, hey, we deserve better workings. You know, corporations have been really greedy and people are demanding better pay and conditions and stuff. But here we were serving lusty desires faithfully, working hard, and we're just getting so little in return. And we're not even thinking like, maybe I should stop. Maybe I should get out of this abusive relationship. So that's what Rupa Goswami says in his prayer. For so long, lusty desires. They haven't done anything for me. And I haven't even tried to give them up. How embarrassing is that? But Rupa Goswami says, never. Utsrijaitam ata yarupate sampratam labda buddhis. Now my buddhi, my intelligence is finally awaking in your association. It says, Lord, in your association, my intelligence is labda buddhis. It's finally like, it's manifesting, it's coming out, I'm getting it. I no longer accept this role, this condemnation as a servant of unlimited lust desire. Now my intelligence is kicking into full gear, and I will no longer be a servant of these lusty desires. I beg instead that of your divine lotus feet. Please protect me. So let's make that our prayer. Let's make that. I don't want to be embarrassed by material desires, the unlimited pushing desires. I'm done. I'm just done with all that. I want to be a servant of Krishna. I want my happiness to be the happiness of Krishna. I want to derive my pleasure from that which pleases Krishna, chanting his holy names, serving his beautiful deity form, serving his community of Vaishnavas and cows. Let me make my happiness Krishna's happiness, because rumor has it he is the pleasure expert. He might know a little better. He might know a little better about how to enjoy. And you know what? I'm going to come out with the truth with all of you Prabhus who are listening to me, if you can hear me. I'm going to come with the truth. I'm going to bear it all. I want you all to know exactly what's going on with me. The truth is, I've actually advanced in Krishna consciousness so much because I've decided to please Krishna. We all have. And sometimes when the material desires seem like they're swarming around us, you know, like vulture eye ready to attack, sometimes we need to stop for a moment, pause, and reflect upon how much progress we've made. How much progress we've made in silencing these desires that are always biting at your mind. We made a lot of progress. So let us not be discouraged if every once in a while we seem to get blindsided, new desire, or an old one, an old flame, quite literally an old flame, or a desire which is like an old flame. If that happens every once in a while, it's okay. We're making progress. Take some time to think about how far we've come. It's really good. You know, under the things, this could take many, many, many lifetimes to gradually diminish your material desires and to be ready for re-assimilation into the spiritual dimension with Radha and Krishna. That can take a long time, much progress even in a few years. So let's be encouraged that, hey, it's working. It's not, oh my God, there's another desire. I guess Krishna consciousness, it didn't work out. Sad about it not being fulfilled yet. No, come on. Let's be very encouraged by how much progress we've made. Think about what you were like before getting chanting, hearing and chanting about Krishna, his name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Just think about what was your aspiration? How you were constantly tormented by wanting more and more. And now look at the difference. We're doing a lot better. Okay, so we might not be pure devotees yet. For some, no, it'd be hard for me to know because I'm not a pure devotee. You might still have some stuff lingering in the heart, but we're making a lot of peace. So it's nothing to be embarrassed by. This is an encouragement. It's an encouragement. And that's why Rupa Goswami's prayer event. He says, I recognize, you know, I've been just serving these senses, serving these lusty desires for, but now I'm going to use my intelligence. I'm going to get this sorted out. I'm going to take shelter of your lotus feet. Embarrassing. That's the truth. And we should actually be very encouraged when we look at our progress over the years, bringing ourselves to Krishna. The peace of mind and peace of heart, I can only say for myself, what a relief. What a relief to not have to chase unlimited longings and desires. Oh my God, what a relief. I'm so tired of it. And I feel like I'm not interested in material desires anymore. Well, not entirely. There's a couple more vultures hanging around, but wow, you know, the sky is cleared up. There's only a few left. Used to be just swarming with desires. Now a few little ones, a few persistent ones, and I'm getting ready to kick them in the polka. So As Prabhupada says here, one who has all these desires surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who leaves all business to him, is freed from such anxieties. So let us make Krishna our business partner. I don't know if anybody has a business or business partners. I do. It's hard to have business partners. Having a business partner is very difficult. I hope you all can still hear me. Having a business partner is generally very difficult, unless your business partner is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is that business? Devotional service. He provides the inspiration, Buddhi Yogam, and then we just put our heart into it. That's the business. So one who surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who leaves all business to him is freed from such anxieties. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj advises a person who has taken to the materialistic way of life, which is never permanent, but always temporary, to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and leave aside all his so-called responsibilities in order to get free from all anxieties. Yukta karma pala tyaktvam shantim apnoti naishtakim. Krishna says, for one who has just given the fruits of all of their karma to the Supreme, yukta karma palam tyaktva, they renounce all of the karma pala, the fruits of activity, by engaging in Krishna service. That means the money, that means your children, that means your partner, that means your house, your car, whatever property you might have, whatever skills that you have, use it for yukta karma. If I got a car, can I drive devotees somewhere? Drive them to the airport. Someone always needs a ride to the airport, right? I have a home. Can I bring people here to I have children? Can I inspire them in Krishna consciousness by my own example? Whatever we've got, yukta karma, we're going to engage in Krishna service. Palam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim. Such a person, steady peace, naishtika, peace. Nishta, the same as nishta. Nishta, it's steady. Kanishta, like kanishta adhikari, means an unsteady person. Sometimes they're up in bhakti, sometimes kind of down, all around. So nishta means steady. Shantim apnoti naishtakim. Such a person has steady peace, lasting shanti. Ayukta kama karena pale sakta nabadite. But a person who's not engaging, sting their karma into Krishna, ayuktaha kama karena, and they're just by material desire, kama karena, everything's caused by their lust, their selfish desire. Then that person, ayukta pale sakto nibadite, they're sakta, they're bound up. So you have the shanti or the sakta. Shantim naishtikim or the sakta nibadite. Bound up, just always, just burdened, like carrying a heavy weight all the time. So the choice is clear. The choice is clear. We just have to remember that this is our choice. We choose to serve Krishna, just like Rupa Goswami says, love the Buddhist. Now my intelligent king, I'm no longer going to serve the unlimited desires. I'm going to serve your lotus feet, Krishna. So let's make that conviction today. And if you forget, that's all right. Do it again tomorrow. And then if you forget again, avritam jnanametina, that's okay. Try again the next day. There's nothing better to be doing in this whole world. All right. That's all I have to say about that. And Srimad did ask if there's any thoughts or comments or challenges or retorts or additions or subtraction or questions. Do 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 do.
Hare Krishna.
Hi, Bola Jamil Prabhu.
Jai, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for a wonderful class. And a couple things I was getting today was I remember hearing first, when I first came into the movement, about chewing the cud. And I guess with time, you begin to understand that chewing the cud, trying the same thing over and over again, trying to get more and more pleasure out of it. So I was really relishing having better understanding of that term and how Srila Prabhupada used it and how it applies to ourselves. But more importantly, I was really digging this phrase, sense gratification support group. And I was really
Sense gratification anonymous.
yeah, and it's like with all addictions, our addiction to this material world, we need the support group of the Srimad Bhagavatam class, the Chaitanya Charitamrita class. And I was just relishing how you were phrasing that, and it just resonated with me this morning. So I just wanted to thank you for that, and the fact that we can begin this process over, and we just got to keep this battle up, and that. Thank you for encouragement today, because I feel powerful in battling those desires that aren't related to Krishna. So, Haribo, I'm just thinking about that today. And I want to thank all the wonderful devotees who present these classes, because in that way our mind, for me, it helps to settle my mind hearing these things about Krishna, just hearing his pastimes and his stories, and him explaining to me where we are so I can get out of this situation. So I was just relishing how Srila Prabhupada so nicely has laid this out for us, that we can begin to become free from anxiety. So, Haribo.
Thank you, Jamil Prabhu. You're always the emblem of enthusiasm and positivity in Krishna consciousness. And I just feel we're always having something positive to say in Bhakti. I really appreciate that about you. Okay, well, I guess that's it for questions in the chat. There's some praise of Srimad, which is wonderful.
I have a question.
Devaki Preeti, possibly the only smiling face which could best Ajamil Prabhu. I don't know whose smiling face is even more inspiring. Perhaps it's a tie.
Thank you so much.
How can I serve you?
Thank you so much for your class. I had a question. How do we balance being encouraged with our progress in devotional service, but also maintaining our humility of knowing where we still need to go?
Well, the spiritual master helps us to be humble if we're fortunate to have some direct association with the spiritual master. I always feel humble in the presence of someone who is remarkably Krishna conscious. That's the best kind of humility, that in the presence of the Lord and his devotees, we just feel, wow, just way there, I'm way down here. That's the best kind of humility, not just that I'm so bad and I'm so low and a type of sense gratification. So in the presence of the Lord and the spiritual master, we should feel real humility, and also encouragement to continue to do more in devotional service. But we need guidance. We need people who can tell us, hey, you're doing this service great, but you could do a little better like this, or do some more like that, to worry, like, am I stuck in the quicksand, or am I making some mistake? Do I have some attachments? So having someone who can really guide you, who can really care for your development in bhakti is just so wonderful. It's so valuable. And it seems like it's getting harder on people to do, but you're smart. I'm sure you'll continue to do it anyway. I'm not sure I address lots that could be said, of course, balancing. But I think that the best type of humility is just to be in the association of devotees who just, wow, and you're awe-inspired, because you simultaneously feel humble, but also encouraged in devotional service. Sometimes we get into this falsity where it's like, oh, I'm just so low, I can't do anything. I don't do devotional service. Well, that's Maya. That's Maya. The better on those devotees who just like really just inspiring. You think, wow, I want to be like that. Like when I see my spiritual master, actually the first time I saw my spiritual master, I just thought, wow, I just want to be exactly like him. I didn't even know his name yet. I was brand new. I couldn't even pronounce the name. They're saying something in Sanskrit. I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, listen to him. But it's just like, wow, this person has got it going on. And I want to but also encourage and bhakti at the same time. I hope that kind of answers the question. One of 10 million different answers to your question, but that's my answer. All right.
Thank you.
I will leave you all. Thank you very much for listening to me. I hope some internet problems over on this end. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila ki jai. Janitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo.